I have a responsibility for my knowledges and the way I deliver these knowledges to the world. And that's why KGB is bad.
How are you able to like talk about your story and be out there doing what you're doing? Aren't you like scared that you're going to get killed?
Everybody got shocked. Like I was shocked myself. Like we would never expect Putin would start official war like that.
Someone's sexiness comes from within. It doesn't actually even, if you're passable on the outside, that's pretty much good enough if you don't have a strong sense of self and self-esteem, because to me, that's what's ugly and unattractive, right? Like if you truly are somebody who like really truly has self-confidence and you bring it out to the world.
I was betrayed by my commander, and I was I was betrayed by the system, by my government, and it's the hardest thing when you give everything.
We have such an exciting, fun guest, fascinating guest today. Her name is Aliia Roza. She is a former Russian spy. She was handpicked for an elite espionage academy in Moscow, where she was trained to seduce enemies of the state for secrets. After falling in love with one of her targets, she was forced to flee the country. This, first of all, I'm telling you, I left the room because I didn't want to even ask her a question before we're on camera, because I'm like, I've been so excited to talk to you. I'm not even joking. So because of that, I want to do this. We do these like little shots on the podcast. This is a magic mind. It's very good for like focus and productivity.
I love it.
And keeping you like really alert. So I figured.
And there is no Novichok, right?
Oh no, no. This is all this is organic.
I'm sure.
I know adaptogen. There's like lion's mane and turmeric. So here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers, my dear. Amazing. All right.
It's very delicious.
It's very delicious.
Very delicious. Very cool.
Yeah, exactly. See, there you go. I'm the spy. No, I'm joking. Well, you never know. I might be. Okay.
Who knows? You never know.
You never know.
The real spies, they would never, release their identity.
They would never, exactly.
I mean, active spies,
How do we know that you're not a spy still? I mean...
Because I just released my identity.
I know, exactly. So then that's how we know. Okay, so let me just... Okay, this is very interesting. So you did the podcast To Die For, which I was riveted and I listened to the whole thing in probably one sitting. I was like walking and walking.
Way.
Yeah, I was walking and walking, and
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I probably sent it to, without exaggeration, 400 people. I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. So I probably single-handedly like got that podcast like up the charts.
Thank you so much.
No, because I'm so fascinated by the movies like Salt and Red Sparrow and all of these like women assassins, right? And so when I heard about you, of course I was glommed onto the whole idea. And with like you kind of are like the real life. It sounds to me like the real life Red Sparrow.
Well, yeah, you can say that. Red Sparrow, yeah. Unfortunately or fortunately, who knows? But I'm still alive, so I'm blessed.
I mean, I was going to say, how are you able to like talk about your story and be out there doing what you're doing? Aren't you like scared that you're going to get killed?
So there are a few reasons why I actually started to speak about it after 20 years being silenced.
Okay.
The reason number one, the most important, is actually exposing my face and my name. Kind of. It's my insurance and security, because the Russian government contacted me 3 times, to be specific. One time when I was basically I was fled Russia, when that was the whole story. My son's father was killed, and I had to leave. It's another story. It's a second season. Then the second time when I was in England, and I was already walking into that Buckingham Palace, and I was volunteering for the charity of royal family. So I met King Charles and Queen Elizabeth and so on. So they contacted me again. And then the third time, actually before the Ukrainian war, because I'm already in America, and they kind of like, why don't you go and work and like closer into Washington with all these like people there, politicians and so on. And the problem is that they give you an offer you cannot say no. So the first time they said, well, we will kidnap your son, like that. So you cannot say no. So like these two times I was kind of like escaping and kind of like putting them into kind of like this, like I was hanging them. But like the last time I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll just, I spoke with my former colleague. She was still active agent. And she actually gave me really good advice. She said, listen, why don't you go to, to become really like public figure, make it big, like talk about your past, speak out and stand against the war for the peace. Because first of all, like when Ukrainian war started, it was wow, like everybody got shocked. Like I was shocked myself. Like we would never expect Putin would start official war like that. And also one of my so it was my uncle who wasn't Ukrainian or wasn't Russian. He's from Kazakhstan. He was a doctor, and he was working in the hospital helping all these people who were injured. He got killed. And it just like made me so upset, all these like innocent people being killed for nothing. Because, all the wars, like basically all these innocent people, they're suffering for nothing. Like now we have like Israeli war, same bullshit again, like hello. So I'm kind of like, I want to make kind of like impact to the world and like literally like unite people to stop the wars. And I think like if we will all unite together, we can stop wars. If they will not go and fight, right, we can do it. So there was like a few reasons why I started to share my story. And then eventually I was introduced to Neil Strauss, and we spoke, and he immediately told me, you know what, like, why don't we do like an audiobook, like a format of the podcast, and you share all your story there. So we started to work on that, and now it's out.
How long were you working on that for?
Over a year. So it's almost like 1.5 years, long time.
Okay. Let's start from the beginning, because I like of all the people on this podcast, like this is something that I need chronological order, because there's like so much to like dive into. Yeah. So you were, because I want to say that not only were you like a spy, but you were like sexpionage, right? So you were like trained in the art of seduction.
Yes.
And had to seduce basically had to seduce men to get
and
women. Okay, I thought it was only men to get basically secrets, and then for your country. So, how in the world does that even? What is the process of how that even starts and begins? Like, can you just start from the beginning?
Well, the beginning of the beginning, all my family, including my grandfather, who has a big monument in Stalingrad. He was a national hero fighting Nazi during Second War. My father served in the military over 40 years. He was a high-ranking officer. And actually, like, even now, some of my cousins, and they still in military, so basically the whole family. So I was born. I guess my father wanted a son. I was born, and he he trained me from very early age, like really early age of like this, not just like kind of like programming techniques, but also physical exercises. He would give me really hard exercises, like run with weight from 6 years old. Like I was like really getting prepared for something bigger in my life. At that time, of course, I didn't know. But when I reached 18 years old and I was enrolled into university where I wanted to go with all my classmates, he said no. He literally brought me into the department where I started to work, and then I was sent to the military academy. And then I was enrolled to this sexpionage program from 350 students, just like a few girls, including me, together, totally 5 girls were enrolled into this program. And it was really secret, so we were not allowed to speak about it. You cannot share anything about this program in Russia. If you would do this, you would go to jail. So I don't live there, thank God.
Yeah.
And I think like I wouldn't even start to talk about it if I wouldn't have my green card, to be honest. Like, because like I lived in so many countries everywhere in the world, and I got so, that was another reason why I was scared, because it would be easy to terminate me, you know. So just because like I'm really grateful to America, to American people, for giving me home, for giving me security, for giving me the safety where I feel free. Like whoever says about America, I don't know, guys. I think America is the best country because I lived in Switzerland, Italy, France, Greece, England. And I would say, honestly, from my perspective, and I wasn't there as a tourist. I lived there. So I was integrated into the culture. I learned cultures and languages and everything. America is the greatest country. I really, really love this amazing, beautiful people and everything around it. And I think like, it's just like a little bit sad that people are divided here, because then it's easy to manipulate people. So, but rather than that, I mean, if people would unite together, it would be just like unstoppable.
Yeah, but we're right now we're in a time when it's very divided, and there's so much vitriol and aggressive hate towards different people. Like I'm sure you're seeing what's happening in the world right now, even with the war, what's happening with all the protesters, and it's like it's what's happening in this country is unbelievably horrible.
Well, because somebody pays right behind it, and then people got manipulated through media, and it's all paid stuff. So somebody really wanted, like, we always need to see underneath what's the benefit after that, like who is benefiting from all these things, because like any war, it's the most profitable business.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
weapons. Like, who is standing behind it? Like, look there. But like, unfortunately, people don't see it, and they just go and like fight against each other. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, what I listen. Yeah, I'm obviously I'm Jewish. I'm actually half Israeli, and what I'm very upset about and very outspoken about is that we were attacked. And we were just retaliating. And war is awful. War is horrible, as we all know. And there are casualties. But the numbers that they're saying are completely false. They're not even accurate. They're listening to like the numbers are coming from Hamas, which is like a terrorist organization. It's despicable that is what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's being fueled by a lot of money behind them. Like a lot of these protesters, funnily, people are saying like on the campuses, they're not even students. They're like old, like if you see the people who were arrested, they're all old men, old women, like who are being paid by like all the money from Qatar and all these other places. Like there's a red herring here, right? Talk about the red sparrow later, but the red herring is, look over here. We're going to do all this to distract you. But like, there's a bigger play here than just what it is.
Exactly. So that's the most important. Like, so kind of like we need to open eyes of people so they can see through not being manipulated so easily.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Somebody is sponsoring it, obviously. So why don't they see like, and it's just like so obvious,
I mean, there's a thing, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a whole thing, like there was like, I don't know, like 500 of the same tents that were like, posted in the encampment, the exact same tent. Yeah. So you're telling me everybody in unison went and bought the same tent? Like, give me a break, right?
Of course.
Like, it's so ridiculous. But the problem is, it's ignorant, and people don't know what they don't know. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the education. They're getting their stuff from TikTok. And then they're like, basically like, oh, this is what's happening. Like, TikTok is like the news for people.
Now, yes.
It's pathetic. People have zero attention span to even pay attention. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm exceptionally passionate about this. So I can go on and on about this forever.
Yeah, it's just like sad, it's sad. And like, I think like as more people, as us bringing awareness to this problem nowadays, this will help. I hope so. This will help also new generation to understand that they are being manipulated.
Yeah.
So it's all about like being a secret agent. We learn about manipulation, everything. So when I share my knowledge to students, the most important thing is to prevent manipulation. You have to like understand. It's not about like believe or not believe, like just read, see through, and like just like do research, do your own research, make your own opinion. Don't allow anyone to give you this like BS, whatever. Like, don't just believe anything anyone says.
Right. You got to, and that's a great segue back into you because I have a million questions. So let's go back to your dad. Okay. So wait. So your dad was teaching you early on how to like, to be
Prevent
kind of
manipulation.
Right. He was, but because he was hardcore, he was like teaching you.
Yes.
Like, so he was like training you to kind of, he's grooming you, so to speak, to be someone who is able to be really mentally tough and all the things. So then, let's say now you're in the program, the military.
Yeah.
I want to talk about all the different tactics that they taught you just in basic training.
Okay.
And then I want to ask, and then I want you to talk about why you were one of the people that were chosen to go into this elite program for the Sexpionage and what they taught. I want to know details of what they like detail. I want you to go like so deep into it because I'll just keep on grinding you until you do anyway.
All right.
And then we'll kind of go from there because that to me is like very interesting. I think people want to know like the tactical things that they did with you.
Yeah, I think like, you know what, Jen, it's kind of like interesting that for me and for us, this education was not that wow kind of thing. Maybe because we're coming from Soviet Union, I don't know. Maybe because like women there are different, who knows. But when I started to share about these topics and everything, I mean like Russian speakers, they like, yeah, we know about that. But like any other like European, Americans, they were like, oh my God, that's crazy. You studied that. And I'm like, yeah, but like it's normal. Like that's why I think, sorry, maybe it's not, I mean, according to statistics, they say like Russian women or like Russian speaking women, post-Soviet countries, they are sexist women, right? But I would say the sexist is not just coming from the look, it's the way how women behave themselves with men. Because the strength of woman lies in her weakness. And this is the most important skill for any woman. So the woman, as yourself, as a secret agent or wherever, just a woman, you're strong. You know that you're strong. You can handle everything. You will not give up, whatever challenge will come, because you will become mother or you're already mother. You are creator. And you have much more power than any man. Sorry, guys, but it's true.
Right.
But never ever show your strengths to a man directly. Supporting him, embracing him, encouraging him, motivating him, and nurturing him, yes. But never show yourself as I am stronger, smarter, or better, or wherever. Never a competition. Always like, you are the man. I'm behind you. I love you. I'm your woman. You know, I will protect you. I will support you. I will do everything for you. But then the woman inspires men to go there and fight for her, for their kids, and whatever, for the home, for the country. So that's the most important skill I think we got from this school. But I kind of like believe that Soviet Union kind of like have it, maybe because of the influence of the Asian countries, of the Muslim countries, who knows. I'm coming from Kazakhstan. In fact, like Kazakhstan people, they're Muslim. You know, the funny thing you mentioned, I did my DNA test and I have like 13% of Jewish blood, but it's also normal because there's so many Jewish coming from that part too, especially from Kazakhstan, Russia, you know, like there's so many Jews. So my parents, so my mom is like that woman. She is very nurturing, very supportive to my dad. That was like, he still is, sorry. It's like, so he is like the guy who would go and fight and conquer the world. She would be always there to support him, you know, and this is incredible. Yeah.
So are you saying, okay, so like, let's say seduction tip number one, right? And I think what you were saying also is, I think it's kind of not people who are very, it doesn't even, you don't even have to be a spy, right? You can just have to be like a slick, savvy person to figure out like that, you know, you don't want to come across too alpha to a man because it's also a turn off.
Absolutely
a total turn off. I did a whole thing on this and I got like totally just slammed for it because you're basically saying that no matter how strong or alpha you are as a woman, never show it.
Never.
Like kind of be like the strong silent type is what you're saying, right? Like always pretend, like put a man on the pedestal, kind of compliment him, tell him how wonderful he is, how amazing he is, no matter what. Now, to me, you don't even have to be a spy to know that. I just feel like it's just kind of common sense if you are like a smart girl. But I mean,
but still,
girls don't want to. A lot of times now, girls don't want to do that. They feel that it's,
and that's why they're single. Right.
That's why they're single.
I mean, then they ask me, my students come to me and say like, why am I single? I'm so successful, I'm beautiful, I'm hot, like I have business and all that. And like, why I'm single? Like, because of that. And the another thing, like there is a technique which I mentioned in the podcast, like you asked me about seduction tips, so like yes, and also circle of how, where, okay, if you always praise the man, how amazing he is, he would eventually become like, yeah, I'm the greatest. And then like, whatever, like you're like, go and like walk. And then he would try to go and like conquer other women, females, whatever. And the circle of hell techniques, it's almost like cold and
what do you call it?
A circle of hell.
A circle of hell.
Yeah, technique. I mentioned it in the podcast. So it's basically when a woman, this is a seduction, when she trains men almost like the way you're training a dog. So if the man does something good, you give a reward, like, something like a delicious thing, whatever, reward. But if he does something wrong, like, I don't know, whatever, he forgot something, he didn't present flowers, so he forgot your like anniversary, birthday, whatever. So you don't you don't do arguments or hysterical things like a lot of women do. You just ignore and you put on a very like distance, on a very cold distance. Nobody loves it, of course, like it's ignorance. Nobody like can handle it. So, but this is much more effective rather than screaming and arguing, and you know what I'm saying.
See, I agree with you, but again, it's like I knew that instinctually. So I'm saying like,
because you're a woman, you're a smart woman.
Like I'm saying, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's certain people who just know these things better than other people, and they don't. Like, to your point, I mean, I hate to say this, but like, I do agree, like in the sense that the women who are come across way too like tough and strong, it's very masculine, and you bring on a masculine energy. Even like if you have a masculine energy and a strong veneer, like when you're trying to attract a man, you have to have a softness for the man that they want, basically. I will be honest. Like the people that they want to be going out with, no one wants to have that like feeling of like competition. Like they want to have like you have to have a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? You called it the circle of hell.
Yeah.
But again, like, and I think that like to what you were saying earlier, Russian women are just naturally, they're better at that than I think a lot of other American women. I think that isn't it something that's I don't think it's naturally taught in a curriculum where you're from, but I think
women behave this way. So education, it's all about coping. So girls being raised by certain type of mothers, they become similar, behavior. Females. So I think it's all coming from there. And also, after the Second War, Russia lost so many men. Of course, they were like, according to statistic, 10 women, there are like 7 men. And I think like it's the same statistic right now, especially during the Ukraine war. So in America, I mean, like, okay, if I would go in Russia, in Moscow, like to the bar or club or restaurant, there would be 90% women, beautiful, stunning girls. Here, I go to the club. I mean, I just came from Florida. I said like, oh my God, these Florida guys are so hot.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was like, wow. Oh, I just, maybe I'm too hungry. I don't know. But I love American men. Like, I think like they're really, well, first of all, there are like a lot of men compared to like in Russia or wherever, or Europe also. And I think men here are more kind of like male, they're more like manly.
You think so? Not in LA. So. I mean, are you talking about LA? Because not really here.
Like LA, like, so I kind of like, I don't date here. Maybe I should try, but like I never kind of like went
you'd eat them alive. I'm telling you, because even though you know how to seduce.
Okay.
But you said you like manly men. Most of the manly men I know are not really living. They're not from here. They're living
That's
in
why
other,
I like Florida.
Yeah, East Coast. East Coast men are in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Much better.
I just feel this vibe, like this strong man vibe. I love it.
They're like more like men. Here
Makes me
you get
horny, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, look at you. Do you have a boyfriend then, or you don't have a
Not
boyfriend?
yet. I think like I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking, yeah, I probably should at some point. But it's quite difficult. I will explain why. So I just spoke today with my friend. I said, like, you see, the point is that I don't want just to date for like date. I want to have a partner, but I'm a very ambitious person myself. I have certain mission in life, which I am kind of like getting slowly but surely, but I will do it anyway. So somewhere is there.
Well, how old are you?
Advertisement.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 38.
You're 38.
Yeah. So
and she's single and looking for a nice guy.
not just a nice guy. Yeah, of course, he will be nice. But the point is that I want to build an orphanage for those children who are by themselves, no parents, no future, from all these Israeli wars, like Ukrainian wars, wherever, Africa, doesn't matter. So I want to adopt as many kids as I can, build for them orphanage in a separate island. But the most important thing, I would love to teach them some of the KGB techniques, because I do believe that they can really make a big difference for good if it's sustainable reasons. And also to build like a new generation without all these differences in race, nationalities, wherever. So this new generation will come here to the continent, like the new American, wherever, European continent, and they will teach others. So we will hopefully have a world without wars or any, conflicts. That's the most important, where they can actually protect each other and, respect each other, and also nurture our planet from pollution. So that's my plan.
That's a good goal. Okay, we have to get back to the story though. What are some of these KGB techniques overall that you learned? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
No, it's okay.
Do you want a Kleenex?
No, it's okay.
Okay, just go like that to your.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite sexy.
Yeah. I was going to say.
It's a special seduction technique, by the way.
Did you do it on purpose? I was going to say, did you do that on purpose?
I think like seduction, it's a lifestyle. I think like everything you do, it's almost like in your DNA, like everything, like the way you move, the way you are, the way you present yourself. But believe me, I wasn't like that when I just entered when I was 18 years old. First of all, I was like really nerdish. So I was bullied. I was telling to your daughter actually. So I was only one Asian girl in the beautiful like class of like all these like blonde, blue eyes girls, 30 girls and one boy, I remember. And I was bullied by them because, I was different. Mm-hmm. And I felt really bad. I also had like pimples all over my face. I didn't really wear like fashionable clothes. My parents didn't allow me to put like short skirts or like makeup or like polish, like nail polish my, like, no manicure, whatever. So I felt really bad. Like I felt ugly. So when I entered that Espionage program, you ask me, how did they choose us? So I think, first of all, there is a special program where they would not take anyone from the street. So my father, the reason why he trained me, it was for this special program, not for the specific espionage. He didn't know about that. He, in fact, doesn't know about this till now. But I know that Spotify and iHeart and Apple is not existing anymore in Russia, so he cannot listen to it, and he doesn't speak English, so I hope he will never find out, to be honest.
So he has no idea still.
He has no idea about the whole thing, what happened to me over there, because it was really, I don't know I don't want him to know, to be honest. He raised me in a certain way, which was beautiful, because he raised me to, first of all, protect innocent people, civilian, love country. Like it's a real patriotism, which is beautiful. He would go to like war and like literally would be able to like and would be ready to sacrifice himself, as I did at a certain point. I went to the Chechen war, and I was ready to sacrifice my life for that, because I knew that, like when Ukrainian war started, like the first like thought which came to my mind was, I want to go and fight and protect innocent people, especially children. Like that's the first like thing I got. But of course, like I have my own son and everything. And I know that if I will be here and trying to bring awareness to, to this problem, I think like I will raise much more influence. And my father, he doesn't know, but when I came to this program, being nerdish, ugly duckling, and I went through the whole transformation, even bad, when I was raped, and I was just virgin girl and never even kissed the boy, and I had to, I just couldn't do anything. Like they would just like rape you, like not just like.
Well, who raped you?
So my commanders, my teachers, my colleagues, like it's just like it was like I think like I shared it's on the second episode or third. I basically I was just walking through my class and the guy just like my colleague, my classmate just grabbed me. He put me on the floor and just literally fucked me, and I couldn't do anything. And you cannot go anywhere. And that's also part of the program because you have to disattach your own body from your feelings, from your emotions, because how you will go and seduce your target if you are still kind of like, you cannot give your body away for your mission, for something bigger, like the task or whatever, for the order. How can you do it? You have to separate your body completely from your emotion. And I think like that's the problem why I don't have serious relationship, because like I'm still learning how to open myself and feel my emotions within this body, because like even now like my body kind of like separated from me.
How many guys or people, how many people did you seduce in your career?
A lot.
Like 50, 100?
Over that.
200?
A lot. Like a lot.
Like, does that mean you had...
I don't want to even think about it.
Did you have sex with like more than 500 guys?
Oh my God, Jennifer, you will kill me. Like, I will never date after this interview.
No, well, listen, isn't that kind of what everyone wants to know, I'm sure.
The guys would be like, no, already guys asking me like, oh my God, you were like a espionage agent? Wow, okay, so, like how many guys actually you had? I'm like, not so many. Like, I don't really remember. I never counted because like at some point I just lost the...
More than 500?
Yeah, much more.
Wow. And you said women also. So what does that mean? Were you seducing them sexually or also just overall?
Mostly sexually. Mostly.
Mostly sexually.
Mostly sexually, yeah.
So does that okay, wait. So if that's the case and you have all this ability to seduce like anybody, anytime, you should be having a million boys. Like, can't you just pick a guy and be like, that's the one I want?
I know. I can pick up any guy, any woman. And so here is the sustainable kind of like responsible thing coming to me. I don't want to break anyone's heart, because seduction, it's the beginning, the first part of love, falling in love. The problem is what I have when I say to the guy living here in LA, and this is like, swear to God, the real stuff, and all this happening with me like that. So I would say, let's just hang out and let's just have sex once a week, maybe 2 times a week. That's it. Like, just for the healthy purposes.
Right, just for fun.
Just for fun. Like, I need like some sex sometimes, like I'm a human being. So the guy would be like, perfect, that's amazing. Like, no responsibilities, no commitments, amazing. So guess what? After 2-3 times, he comes to me and he says, listen, I want to have you as a girlfriend. Can we be exclusive? Can we date seriously? Can we be like, for what? I want to build family with you. Are you thinking about like getting married again and having kids? You know what? And I cannot do that because I have the mission, which I told you about building this orphanage. And I have like much bigger kind of like global things. And I want to do more travel and like speak and do public speaking and inspire women and all that. So I cannot combine being a housewife and like with a newborn kid now and doing these things together, because it won't work.
So is it like, maybe you're just that good in bed that they just all fall in love with you? Now, is that...
Sex.
Yeah, maybe. But so can you tell us, I want to know about all the sex techniques that you're able to like get the world secrets out of all these big leaders. But okay, so they're basically desensitizing you at the I'm still trying to be in chronological order. So you got raped by your commanders. How do you think that was because they were trying to desensitize you from the idea, or is it just because that's the culture of like, we can do whatever we want?
Yeah, all that.
All
We can
that.
do whatever we want. It's kind of like cool. He has the power to do anything he wants with young students, man or female. And there is no boundaries, And then also, as this is part of the program, you have to completely be, almost like kind of like it's sex trafficking as well, but opposite. I was going and fight the sex trafficking, the human trafficking, when I was infiltrating the criminal gangs, where I was sex trafficked myself for my own government, which is interesting. I never was thinking about it till the moment the former CIA said in the podcast which Neil interviewed, and I understood it only after. I was like, wait a minute, I was sex trafficked myself, and I never like felt this way. I thought like I'm doing something really big.
Right. But so how did they even get you to the point of like, okay, so what are some of what are some of the techniques that you were taught to get you to a place where you were able to then see a target? Mm-hmm. And how long were you doing it for?
Okay, so basically our lessons were built this way. From 6 a.m., you do like exercises, kind of like you do exercises first. Then you do, I don't know how do you call it in English, but like
martial arts?
Yeah, of course, martial arts and everything. But marching, like when you're just like lining up and you like receiving all the tasks for the whole day.
Marching?
Kind of like, marching, like
Marching? Yeah.
Marching, okay. 6 a.m. Then we would go to have breakfast, showers, blah, 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 get ready for the lessons from 8 a.m. The lessons would be martial art, the gun shooting, obviously the law, like all the subject history as well of when the KGB was founded, like all the stories, poison, like different types of poisons, like how do you use it, different types of devices, like, kind of like James Bond, what kind of like microphones you can put, what kind of box you can, put somewhere, what kind of like cameras inside, like installed into your button or wherever you can use, like many different things. Other type chemical weapons as well. We would study like how to do this and like who would kind of like where does it come from and all these things. So how to, for example, open doors using like certain tools, a lot of different things, like which is quite normal. But then after my lessons, I would go with these other 4 girls to the special classes where the majors, our teacher would teach us some seduction sex techniques, which are mostly, I would say 80% would be like psychological techniques, how to persuade, how to seduce, how to manipulate, how to very subtly manipulation, okay? Like it's not direct, it's different. How to scan people, how to read their mind, how to understand what their goals, what their weaknesses, what their dreams, like how to basically make anyone to like you. It's much bigger than that. And then eventually we would study sex techniques, which are, for example, what are like positions in sex, how to do oral sex techniques, how to do the deep throat, how to do, how to like also like do the oral sex for women, how to do like orgies, like how does this work? Like what's the fetishes, what's the weaknesses of men, all these kind of things. So it's, I would say it's kind of like a program to be kind of like woman who understands the psychology of man in a way, not as a woman, as a scientist, as a psychologist. So it's a little bit different. And maybe that's why I do adore men. I love men. But I always look at them as almost like, I would say, a kid, For me, it's like big voice.
Right, because you know how to manipulate them. And are women harder to manipulate than men?
Unfortunately, women are much easier to manipulate, which is the interesting fact, because women are more emotional. more kind of like kind, I would say, nurturing. But that's the whole thing. You see, I feel responsibility for this. And that's why I never, as you said, like, why don't I have a boyfriend? Because if I see that he is not the one who will build schools with me for kids, then I don't want even to waste his time for being together and all that and giving him hopes. As well as for women, I would never manipulate women as well, because I know that manipulation, it can destroy someone. I mean, knowing these techniques which I know, I can kill just by saying a word.
What word?
I mean, like, if I would get into the weaknesses of the person and manipulate these weaknesses, the person will probably go on suicide. You see, the point is that I have a responsibility for my knowledges and the way I deliver these knowledges to the world. And that's why KGB is bad, but you know what? Like, you can use it for good. And that's what I'm trying to share with people, that knowing psychology of each other and respecting each other, and having the knowledge of art of communication and art of seduction, because it's, in a way, it's very nice where you can motivate someone, you can inspire someone. Yes, like you can inspire your like partner to be more successful by like just like putting some anchors through sex, or like giving some anchor words, or like some anchor touches, or program his brain.
Anchored?
Anchor,
Anchored, yeah.
Anchors,
Is that a word that?
Yeah.
So how long are they training you before you're allowed or able
Yeah.
to go out on a mission?
So 6 months was the theory, for 6 months theory. Then we went to practice. Then we got back. So altogether, I would say 1 year. And about like 2 years, I was working on the field.
2 years.
Yeah, about.
And so, like, how long would it take to infiltrate someone? Like you're saying, you know, you had so many targets.
Yeah.
But I would think, like in real life, right? In order to seduce somebody, in order to get somebody to do what you want, it wouldn't take just a one and done. Like, you'd have to foster that relationship and make them trust you and like you. And that takes a lot of hours,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, but if you want to recruit someone as your informer, then yes, it takes time. The one which I told you, like, were like my targets, that was only one time task. For example, I would need to get something from this person. And I would say it's the most easiest way, where you just meet, let's say in a public place like bar, restaurant,
Right.
whatever, start a conversation, or like make him to approach you. I mean, there are certain techniques. And then you start the conversation, you speak, blah, blah, blah. And then you kind of like, all this alcohol helps mostly.
Right.
So the start
Lubricate any
becomes-
conversation, right?
Yeah, become more like easy and vulnerable, and you then get whatever you need, or you terminate the target. That's it. So it's one-off kind of assignment.
So, okay, so how many hours, you're saying from from 6 o'clock in the morning until what time are you training with people?
So we would in the academy from 6 a.m. till so we would finish our lessons by 4.
Okay.
But then we would go and study separately.
Yeah.
Another few hours, like 2-3 hours. Then we would do homework. We would definitely do again the exercises like jogging mostly of the time, like in the evening. Then dinner, breakfast. Dinner, breakfast. I'm saying dinner. Then go to sleep, wake up, repeat.
The same thing.
Yeah.
And then where are the other women that you were working with? Where are they now?
One woman, for sure, she was killed. I don't know under what circumstances. The colleague, which I told you before, my very good friend, after I kind of like really asked her to give an interview to Neil, and she agreed. And I said to her, like, I will help you with political asylum because I know some lawyers, they can help you to move from Russia to America. And we were planning to do that. So she passed away under unknown circumstances. Like I spoke with her nephew. He said she was healthy, she was strong, but then And she told me like, I've been watched, my telephone has been listened. So yeah, it
Hers.
was, yeah, hers.
Was she living
Yeah.
there still?
Yeah.
So did Neil ever speak to her or never?
No, he couldn't because like the day we agreed, because I was traveling, he was traveling. So the day we agreed to do the interview, just before maybe like a few days when I texted, like I'm like, I don't receive any text message back. And I then call, and then her relative pick up the phone, and he said like, well, she's dead. So not so many. There honestly not so many agents who would come and say, yeah, we did this espionage, and you know, and mostly of them who actually did it, like Maria Baturina, Anna Chapman, they are back to Russia. They were deported by the American government.
Right. So why? So those are the two that I would know.
Yeah.
So how many, is this program even still existing? Like, is it still out
Yes.
there?
Yeah, of course.
And so
Everywhere.
it's still out there. Is Russia the only country that does sexpionage?
Every single country.
Does
does it.
America have sexpionage?
Well, they don't say, but I guess yes. Why not? It's the most easiest way. The only one thing I think in America I think they have it, but the point is that America is more involved into IT technology, like software, like all this like technology spying rather than human, you know, spying.
Yeah.
And American DNA is more free, if you know what I'm saying. American mind is free. Soviet Union mind is very narrow and very, you know, like this DNA, like they lived in centuries in fears. You know, it's like these people always afraid. You ask me why they don't protest against the war. Why when Navalny was killed, nobody stand. They tried a little bit, but not everybody. If they would all stand and go protest against the regime, which they have right now, they would win. But because of their fears, because of their like, you know, mindset, which is almost like, you know, like in Holocaust, like when Jewish people for many for after like the whole century, they kind of like you have this in DNA for another 7 generation. You know, you cannot do anything about that. So you kind of like living in the fear that if something, I'd rather run away or I will just stay silent. I won't speak out. That's exactly what Russians do right now. They don't speak out because they're scared. That's exactly what is happening with everyone, with other countries. Why this is happening? Because like nobody really wants to stand for themselves.
But then how about, yes, what about like other countries? Like when you were, okay, so what you were doing with your targets, were they all just based around Russia, or were they all over the world? Were any targets from America or?
No, thank God not.
No.
That was my next mission, and I said like screw it, I'm not doing that. So I find a way to get out, which I'm very happy. And when I told you like they were trying to bring me back, I said basically fuck off.
And they're a lot. How can you say fuck off and then don't they have power
because
to
I never
come get
go
you?
back, and like my son doesn't even have the Russian passport because like I'm
No,
like,
but can't
I
they
don't
send someone here to kill you? Like, can't they send
what
an
for?
agent?
Like, yeah, of course they can. In fact, you know what? Like in LA, I just came from Florida, right? In
Yeah.
Florida, I was like, actually, I had a breakdown. I'm like, I need to get away because, like, for a few times, I noticed that I've been watched by the same person. Like, literally, they know where I live. It's not too hard to find where do I live, of course. Yes, they can kill me, but the question is, why do they want to kill me now when I never shared any names or any secret information? I didn't do, I mean, like Litvinenko, as you remember, in 2006, he was poisoned by polonium by the, secret agents in London when he published 2 books, which I read. And he basically put everything in the books, like from A to Z, all the names, all the real information, all the names, all the like even evidences of the corruption and bureaucracy and like everything. I'm not doing that. like I just share my story. That's what happened to me. That's what I studied. I mean, it's not such a big deal. Yeah, everybody knows about the schools being like everywhere, but like I'm not sharing any like names.
You're not sharing like world secrets,
No, of
basically.
course not.
So
I'm not that stupid.
is your name, what's your real name?
I can't tell you, Jennifer. Sorry. I love you, but
Okay.
no.
Okay, but this is not your real name.
No, of course not.
Have you changed your name? How many times have you changed your name?
4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
And so, like, what was your name before?
Well, different.
I mean, yeah, I can Google it, I'm sure, too,
No,
right?
even if you will Google it, the real first name will never come up.
So your actual real, like
My
your real.
actual real name, according to my birth certificate,
Yeah.
no. But only Neil knows. Because like when we met and everything, to prove my story and actual like my identity, I provided him my birth certificate, my diplomas from the academy, all my...
Do you get diplomas from the academy?
Yeah, I got like a diploma from the academy and everything, yeah.
When you say academy, that's not the same thing as like the military, though, right? Like there's no records of you. Like you can't like say there's no records of yes, she did espionage for us. Like there's no
no,
diploma.
they wouldn't say that. No,
right?
No, there's no. Oh,
Yeah,
that's fine.
that's right. Like it's
No.
not like that. It's
No.
more about like the academy. You mean is more like school.
It's actually like the funny thing. It's actually called academy. Okay,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it would call the academy of the eternal affairs, right? Affairs ministry.
Yeah.
Basically, this is the name if you will translate it. But as you said, and you're right, of course, there is no separate diploma for that special program.
Right.
Of course not. As I said, like it's still a secret program. People, look, Russians, they know about that. They are aware of that, of course, but they don't really talk about that. But of course, everybody knows.
Is it so? Did you have any targets outside of Russia though, like in Europe?
No.
All only in Russia.
Yeah, because I fled Russia, so I kind of... Well, I did have like a few kind of like tasks with someone who came from like European countries, but it wasn't that big or whatever.
Can you just walk me through like give me a day in the life of, let's say they say, Alia, whatever, like here's your target, John.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what do you do?
Is he handsome?
No, I was going to ask you, are any of them handsome or are they all just gross or what are they like?
Different. But you know what? There is a special technique where you can program your mind as a woman to basically become aroused by looking at man, and doesn't matter how does he look like.
Can you teach it to me?
Absolutely, yes. So you choose your target. You put your target on the picture of your target on the wall, maybe on the mirror when you brush your teeth or wherever. Better like somewhere where probably like you sleep or you, relax kind of. So you look at the picture and you program your brain to find beautiful features which you adore, even if he's gross, doesn't matter. Kind eyes, beautiful eyelashes, nice nose, like I like his ear, whatever, but it has to be only positive. Same stuff you do for yourself, by the way. Same technique. So you concentrate your brain every single day. You look at the picture and you find this like the best features which you love. And then you masturbate looking at his picture. And the moment you have an orgasm, you tell his name, or like you tell like, oh, like I really want you, like basically you tell yourself what makes you more even into this man. Okay, for anyone it's like different statements.
Give me an example.
Oh, I would say like I want you, for example, like, oh, like I'm yours, or like you're mine, or something like that, or like you're the best, whatever.
Yeah.
So the second you have the orgasm, you say, so this is the anchoring word. You give this word to your brain and you kind of like stick your brain into this word, okay? Then you meet this target eventually, wherever you go, right? Like it's all set up. So you need to do this kind of like technique a few times before you meet this person. But when you meet this person, what happens, and this is the most beautiful thing about our brain, the brain automatically will start to look all these features which you look in the picture and you find adorable. And you tell to yourself this statement, like, you're the best, or like, I want you, or like, John, you're my man, or like, John, I love when you fucking me, whatever. Okay. So whatever you put into your brain. So you say it to yourself. What happens, the brain will automatically send impulses to your body, like creating the hormone, like the
love hormone, pheromones?
pheromones, yes,
Okay.
like all these like hormones which female have before getting aroused, your cheeks becoming blushing, your eyes are like blinking. So you have completely different condition as a woman. Men feel it. It's almost like an animal world, like before they go into this, like, there is a ritual, the sex ritual before like the intercourse. So it's exactly the same thing. So imagine yourself like having this kind of like pre-orgasm condition. Of course, your target feels it. And that's the first step.
What's the second step?
Well, the second step, you just do like some other different techniques. If he doesn't come and approach himself, then you make him to approach you, and then you start a conversation. And the minute you start a conversation, he can see that you want him. And who will ever resist? Which man will resist a woman who looks at him with the eyes of full of like admiration and like willing of like having sex with him?
Right. Like, this is the part that I'm confused about. Like, to me, you don't need to go to, espionage school for this. I mean, this could be like a pamphlet, like basically a 3-minute course. If you're trying to seduce a man, look him in the eyes, look super sexual, tell him how amazing he is, basically keep on like, just like work his ego for like as much as you can, say how great he is, how amazing he is, like,
but not overplay it, otherwise they feel
exactly.
it.
But I think this is more about having a really good, strong EQ, like having the emotional intelligence to like work people. This is human psychology. And it's not just for men. This is for, like you said, for women. It's for like any kind of relationship, for business, for anything. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. So the art of seduction works with more than just like with sex. You can,
of course,
it's like about like being a really great flirt. Yeah. Really. And depending on what you're trying, what your target, not even when I say target, what your actual ultimate goal is. Like, what are you trying to get from this person? Yeah. So there's a very big, like, it's being like an opportunist. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. Any really good opportunist, scam artist, salesperson, I can go down the list, know how to seduce somebody, the art of seduction.
Absolutely.
They know how to do that. Like, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't even have to be a man for sex. It could be like for a business deal. Like, how many times, like, for me, like, I've never slept with 500 plus guys. But at least I'm savvy enough to know if I'm trying to like get something from somebody, how to make them really like me. It's like how to be likable and how to make somebody really want to, do something for you. Is that basically the?
It is, but plus sex techniques. And
that's a whole, yes, but I'm saying like for the common person.
For the common person, that's exactly what I teach in my kind of school.
I mean, that's the thing. So can we go over, give me 3 top seduction techniques. Okay. And then I'll ask you more questions.
All right. Seduction techniques for what purposes? Because there's so many.
I know. Okay. So let's go with 3.
How to make him to approach you, maybe, or like something?
Yeah. Like, give me 3. Okay. How about this? If you're just an everyday woman. Yeah. Okay. A lot of single women out there. Okay. What are the 3 top techniques you can share to seduce a man and to get him to like you?
Okay. And approach you. And so you don't approach anyone. You just kind of like, or like you kind of like.
I can answer this question myself. Okay, go ahead. No. Okay, go ahead. I want you to do it. So you're the guest.
All right. Okay, let's begin from the first one. The first one is
soften your way.
Yeah, soften your way. But also the most important is to have this vibe inside of you, the energy, because it's all about energy. We attract who we are in the end of the day. And if you are not, if you don't like yourself, you don't love yourself, like basically how can you make anyone like you, right? So you need to seduce yourself. This is number one. And of course, all the preparation, all the ritual, like we say, from the makeup and dress up and everything, it's so important for yourself, not for any man, for you, number one. You need to feel amazing. And the same techniques works well for yourself when you look at the mirror and you masturbate and you program your brain on the same word wherever, like I'm the best, I'm the queen, I'm the goddess, right? And you find in the mirror, you find in your reflection the most beautiful features about yourself. Could be anything, but only focus on positive things rather than like on, oh, I have another wrinkle, I have another like whatever flaw. Just like positive things. And it's always like that. You know, it is like affirmation, whatever they say. It's just the most important is how we program ourselves, because that's the vibe we go within and outside to the world, so people feel it. They automatically feel it. You may be the most beautiful girl, but if you're not confident, people like scan it in a second. And when they scan it in a second, the pickup artist would be like, oh, she's just like easy pickup victim, and they will just go ahead for one night stand. Other man who wants to have like a solid relationship, they also wouldn't go, because like if you're not confident or like you don't like yourself, like how can you build healthy relationship, right? So let's say you go there.
I want everyone to hear this because I think it's super important. I talk about this a lot.
Okay.
My whole life I've said this, because, I believe that someone's sexiness comes from within. It doesn't actually even, if you're passable on the outside, that's pretty much good enough if you don't have a strong sense of self and self-esteem, because to me, that's what's ugly and unattractive, right? Like if you truly are somebody who like really truly has self-confidence and you bring it out to the world, there's nothing sexier than that.
I totally agree.
Right? Like someone who's a 4 becomes a 10.
Yeah.
If
yes.
Right? If they carry themselves with self-esteem and self-confidence, with their head up, and they know they're all that, versus someone who's like timid and uncomfortable and awkward and feels like, less than, there's nothing uglier than that, and nothing more of a turnoff. Like to me, the first step of all of this, I should teach the class. No, I'm saying the first thing is like building yourself up in a real way, like actually feeling that way. Don't pretend to be confident. Figure out ways that you can actually build your own self-confidence from within. Like find things about you that's real that you like. Yeah. Because everyone knows if you're just faking it. That artificial like bravado, it's so unattractive. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because people who are really confident, they don't have to tell you. They don't have to like yell it from the rafters. Yeah. You can feel it.
The charisma.
Yeah. And just like it's silent. Like it's like the people who have the most money aren't talking about their money, right? Yeah. The people who have the most confidence aren't like, I'm the most confident person. Like it's a vibe, it's an energy.
Yeah, when you try too hard, like people literally like feel it and they scan it like automatically.
It's automatically a turnoff. And like it's uncomfortable. Yeah. Like it's uncomfortable. So that's, I would think, that's for the art of seduction, for anything. Yeah. But
yes, but also like I want to add, like this is yes. The second thing, like so it's very important also what I say to my female students. They genuinely need to love man. When the woman goes out and she's like, oh, this is ugly, has a beard, has like has a belly, whatever. The point is that men also feel it, right? Like they can sense that woman kind of like disgusted by them or whatever, or when woman had a really negative experience, or like she was heartbroken. We all did, like war at some point. But when she carries that luggage, into this presence where she goes out and she tries to meet someone, but she has this kind of like trauma inside of her. Men also can sense it. And they will, even though she's beautiful, sexy, and she looks gorgeous, they will not approach her because they can sense something is wrong.
Wow. So wouldn't you say, though, don't you have trauma from all of this happening?
Okay, so that's the thing. Of course I do, and I had, but again, because of the techniques which I studied there, and also like which really helped me, and also working on myself a lot, and I work with a therapist every single week. That's what really helped me. If you had trauma, somebody like cheated on you, or like they broke up with you in a really bad way or something, whatever, or you were raped or something, sexually assaulted. Number one, yes, praising yourself, like really, love yourself. These first techniques comes number one. Number two, where in every similar story, in every single guy you meet, you find something good, even though he's disgusting and gross. Who give a F? You need to find at least 5 features you really like. Again, maybe like he has like a cool shoes, or like beautiful eyes, or like whatever. Smile. Doesn't matter. Like you only focus on beautiful, positive things. It's like you always, okay, so you choose 2 ways of living. Either you live in the misery and ugly world, which basically you create this world for yourself, right? Because this is your prisma. Or you look at everything in a beautiful way, like it's such a beautiful world, like such beautiful people around me. It all depends from you. So
Perception.
you choose
It's the perception.
It's the perception. So when you do this exercise, you walk anywhere into the room or like in the street, and you see all the men, and you find only beautiful, amazing things, even though they're like not looking great. It doesn't matter. So, and you focus on that. And what really also helps is when you look at man and you basically say inside of you, like, I really like you, I really adore you. Looking into the eyes when he's passing by and smile. This is the hardest thing to do, because all these random people, you don't know them. And of course, it's kind of like weird, like why this like woman looks into my eyes. But this is the most important. Eye contact is the most seductive technique. Straight eye contact with a smile, warm eyes. Do you know like the sun technique? The sun technique is when you look into the mirror on your reflection and you smile to your reflection for at least 5 minutes, because again, the brain will create the endorphin hormones, which will create this like positive mood. The mood state.
You mean
like
endorphins?
Endorphins. Sorry. Yes. Endorphins.
So say that one more time. So what is?
So you smile to your reflection for at least like 5 minutes. Just like you smile. You smile and you say like everything is cool. I'm amazing. Like I will have an amazing day. It's great. I'm so blessed to like be grateful, basically, like for everything.
For 5 minutes.
Well, at least like it's usually
in your reflection.
In your reflection, yes.
Okay.
Just basically say like how great you are, and you smile to your reflection. But the point is that the brain will think that if she's smiling to yourself, like to herself, so it means that everything is good. We are in a positive state. Everything is good. It's when you breathe in and breathe out in a very calm way. Of course, it will calm you down. When you stand on the strong feet, like strong feet, the Wonder Woman position. You know, the Wonder Woman position.
I know Wonder Woman position. Yes.
Everybody does so. So that's really brings your brain into the very like self-confident kind of like positive mood. And this really, because like when you feel your body together with your your mental state, that's the most important. That's how you connect yourself with the mental state. Okay, does make sense?
It does. So this is is this a technique to build self-confidence, or is this a technique also for the art of persuasion? No, sorry, art of seduction.
Everything starts from you. You cannot seduce anyone if you are not attractive to yourself.
Right. So these are all strategies.
This is number one.
To become more confident
It's
within
foundation.
you.
Yes.
The foundation is look at your reflection, say how wonderful you are, but pick things that and smile. You said smile into your reflection.
And also this is another also technique how to really feel your body. You need to, and this is actually what like also my therapist does with me as well. And this is, I would say, the most effective thing. When you, and I told you I was disconnected, my body was really disconnected from my emotional state because of many rape and abuse, sexual abuse. So when you feel anxious, depressed, sad, paranoid, or wherever, like in a very bad, dark state, that moment, and you feel like, panic attacks. Whenever I feel it, I always do it. And this is like number one. And I hope like it will also help others. First of all, wherever you are, you're sitting or you kind of standing, you try to feel the support of the chair. So for example, now we're sitting, like I feel the support of the chair with my back, with my legs, with my arms, everything. And notice at least like three things, and say it to yourself, maybe inside of yourself. So for example, I see table, I see you, I see the microphone. Another three things which you hear outside, I hear like how how the birds are singing, like the waterfall is there, something else. So three things. And three things which you scent, like you feel your sensation: the armchair, like the glass table, and the like plastic bottle. So what's happening, you absorb all the things around you, right? And for your brain it's almost like a sign that everything is okay. Okay, so you are in a safe environment. Even if the war will happen right now, or like whatever apocalypse is happening, you know that you are safe and secure and stable. And this is the most important, because this will help you in everything, wherever you do. As a former secret agent, like I was scared to death to go to many things, like to go to the war and like take the gun and go and fight someone. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, but that's something what always kept me stable. I never had mental breakdown. I never had depressions. Never. Never. I'm telling you, never. I sometimes I can go into this like kind of like sad mood or wherever. I can like even cry if like somebody, like something happened, like somebody dies or whatever, like the war happened. Of course it like gets me. But to be in the depressive mood, I never was. Because this number one technique which really helps you to be stable and focus on yourself.
So you would do that before, if you had if you wanted to kind of get yourself grounded.
Yes.
You would hold on to something.
Yeah.
Did anything ever happen when like you would have a situation where it got violent?
Me or the target?
Well, no, with the target.
Like fight, an actual fight?
Like an actual fight.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, it's like I'm not scared of that. I think because of.
Do you know martial? Are you like a master martial artist?
No, I'm not master. I would rather prefer to use a gun rather than like fight with a man body, because obviously men are much stronger and bigger. But
do you know how to do that stuff though?
Yes, we studied martial arts, of course. And the good thing is, for example, Aikido, right? You just need to use the power of your target. So you don't really like putting your power. So it's just kind of like attracting the power which he kind of like giving to you, right? If he tries to fight you.
But what happens, like if I find, has anyone ever found out like on task that you were a spy?
Yes.
Okay.
This is in the podcast. It's actually my last mission, and that was, I would say, the most terrible moment in my life. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I am alive, right?
You are alive, thank God. But what happened? Like, how did they find out? What was the thing?
I would say so. I cannot really say everything, otherwise, like people will not listen to the second. So I cannot spoil this the second part. But long story short, I was betrayed by my commander, and I was, I was like, yeah, I was betrayed by the system, by my government, and it's it's the hardest thing when you give everything, yeah, like your life, you believe in something which basically just using you for their own benefits, for like becoming richer or get their own advantage. So yeah, it's in the second part.
Oh, so you can't talk about that yet.
I can't, but
Let's
yeah.
talk about the first part, because you talk about the fact that you had a commander who was protecting you for a
Yes.
long time,
Yeah. Who raped me in the
who
beginning.
raped you in the beginning, and then you turned it around and made him you kind of seduced him.
Yes, he fell in love, yeah.
But then he turned on you.
When he passed me to another one, yeah.
So so when he turned on you, how are you even, like, how did you survive that? Because then now you're having, why, okay, wait, how did he turn on you?
Mm-hmm.
How did you seduce him? And was that like the beginning of the end for you?
Well, in a way, it was beginning of the end, of course, because like he was the one who brought me to that end. But again, everything, whatever we have in life, I think for a reason. And to be honest, like I'm really grateful that he did what he did in my life, even though, you know what, like I wouldn't be here sitting with you right now, Jen. You know what I'm saying? If I would not have this experience, if he would not let me down that time, I don't know where I would. Maybe I would still work in there. Who knows? But whatever happened, happened, and thank God that it happened. So how did I seduce him in the beginning? So he was 30 years older than me and married with 2 kids. So in the beginning, I never wanted to have any future with him. But when I realized that every single female student had to go through orgies, had to like basically have sex with all these like teachers and colleagues, and like it's just like, I don't know, like it's like you having sex with all these people like you don't even know, and they don't care about you, and there is no emotional bond, and there is no love, there is no even friendship. It's like, I don't know, it's like a kind of like a animal, even worse, sex. I mean, like it doesn't make any sense,
With his
right?
commander, though, wasn't he gross?
He was gross, of course, all of them. But I didn't want to go through all of them. I was like thinking I'd rather stick to one, choose the alpha in this crowd, make him my lover, so I would become his protege. Okay, so he would protect me and maybe help me in my career. And that was my plan. So when he, in the beginning, and I said it in the podcast, when he, like, gave me in order to have sex with him, and I just completely like I'm just like a little young girl with like never had like any relationship with men at all. Like I didn't know what to do. But when I felt so used, that moment I was like, you know what? Like I will make him to fall in love with me so I can sacrifice in this environment which I am, because I had to go through that and I didn't know how. I couldn't quit. I couldn't run away. I couldn't do anything. I had to complete my education and become successful. So I thought that moment that I'll make him to protect me, and I did it. But what happened, he fall too much, and again, that's my problem with all the
Oh,
men.
you're exactly. Oh,
That's why I
you.
don't date
Let me hear the
anyone.
violin. Okay, yeah.
I don't date anyone because I don't want to break anyone's heart, because it's my responsibility, like I really feel this. It's I know that at some point I broke his heart, especially this egoistic, narcissistic man.
What, didn't he propose to you?
He did. So that's the whole thing. Like I couldn't say yes because of like, I mean, like, hello, like he's 30 years older, married with 2 kids. His daughter like was like older than me. And on top of that, he raped me in the beginning. Like, how the hell am I supposed to be your wife? You kidding me?
But weren't you scared if you said no? Like, look what happened. Like,
I didn't really say no. I said,
I
like,
know.
let's wait. I was trying to play it and like, oh, let's wait. Like, oh, like I need to finish this. I need to like, so I was kind of like this, but he understood. He was really smart.
And so what happened after that?
So he understood that I kind of like rejected, and he introduced me to that commander, my next commander, who was just, I don't know, like I don't want to say any swear words because we're in the, but
That's okay.
it was the worst person in my life. Like I literally hated this person so much. He was disgusting inside and outside. And he was the one actually who led me into almost like my DAS, that guy. So he was responsible for all my nightmares. And again, in the end of the day, if he wouldn't do it, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
So then what happened though? Like, I know you can't tell me the
Yeah.
details because it's not, but
Released, yeah, but-
yeah, but what happened? Like, did he, you mean, so of all these targets, 500, 700, whatever the number is, none of them were deadly except this last one,
No, there was some deadly.
but you got out okay. No one led you into them.
Yes. But look, I never operated by myself. Like when I was on the mission, I always had my team with me. So
No, I didn't know. Tell me.
Okay, so I wouldn't be just like there, myself and like killing everybody here. Like,
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah, I have
poison
no
every-
idea. Tell me what would happen on a mission.
No. So basically, it's always okay. So basically, it works like this. It's always a female. If it's a mission of getting information, infiltrating, recruiting, informers, or whatever, it's always a woman, female agent. But she also has a backup of 2, 3, 4 agents who does different roles in this performance, let's say.
Okay.
For example, if you want to have a compromise on someone, compromise, I'll just say it again. Compromise is basically an evidence of blackmailing. So it's an evidence for your target where the target feels like he cannot. Basically, it's kind of like a hookup for the target, where the target cannot say no on certain things, wherever you want him to do. For example, if the politician would say, like you asked me about Americans, like I didn't do it, but like I know that that's been done, and a lot of my colleagues were doing this. For example, an American ambassador would be approached, or like he would be connected, or blah blah whatever, dating with the female spy. They would go to private place, for example, a hotel room. They would start to have sex, and either the moment they would have sex or after ejaculation, there would be other male spies, male agents who would come and say, hey, by the way, we have everything taped. We recorded everything. So now you have to give us information we want, or you have to work with us. Or like, if you won't do that, then we will tell the government that you just slept with our agent, whatever. Or another thing would be, we would send these evidences to like public, or like publicly. So for example, if it's like a president of the country or somebody else, I mean, like who would want to have in media all these like, videos with orgies and so on. And basically that was also the way how to get rid of many politicians also in the Soviet Union and in Russia as well. So if somebody wanted to get rid of someone, they would send all this kind of like prostitutes. In fact, they were not prostitutes, they were like agents working, and then they would just record everything and then say, hey, so now you cannot say certain things, otherwise we will show it to the world how you having fun, having drugs and having orgies with girls.
So usually you had a group of people waiting somewhere for you, or
Yeah.
But like in one night, I'm just trying to be like realistic, right? If you're trying to get it, like no one's going to tell somebody something in the first night. So if you're saying you have like 500 targets, that's like 500 nights. Let's just say.
I would say like 500, not like targets, but like over the time. Not like in that particular time over like time.
But even so, like you said, 2 years you're in the field. So
Yeah.
that means like if you're in, that's like 2 years would be what 350 times 2 is 700. That means almost more every night you had a different target. Let's
Or
just
a
say,
few.
or a few, right? Like I'm thinking like human nature. Like I would never tell someone no matter how great your
Yeah.
blowjob was. I'm
Yeah.
not telling you
But
my
you don't need to.
secrets.
What if you have these evidences on your phone, on your computer, on your like papers or wherever? All I need to do is just to get into your belongings. That's all.
So basically, but is it before? Like you would have to do it before he
So
ejaculates, right?
yeah, it's not necessarily just like having sex with all of them.
Right,
Absolutely
right, right.
not.
So that's what I'm saying. I want to know the like
Yeah,
nitty
the
gritty.
most important is just to basically get into the kind of like private space, private zone
Like
where, yeah,
even the phone. Are you breaking into the phones?
phones, computers.
But how do you do it? How do you break into someone's phone in one night?
That's the thing. So me personally, no, because I always would be a bait, like for a fish. Again, like my colleagues, my team would do that. So they are the
So you
ones.
basically wheel them into the hotel room.
I would just be like distraction of attention, always. Like that girl walking into the bar, wherever, looking really like eye-catchy, whatever, and then distract the target, while other agents would work on getting into the phone, laptop,
All the
the
things.
suitcases, wherever, like bags, whatever they have.
So then you have to take them back into the room. So then do you have to sleep with them if they're
Not
if now,
necessarily. Not like I didn't sleep with all of them, of course not.
but some
Not
of them,
necessarily.
like when did you have to sleep with them? When do you not have to sleep with them?
So my main thing was sleeping for establishing long-term relationship, like I did with the mafia guys. That was my main role, is basically to get inside and just be the kind of like girlfriend.
And so would you be able to keep this up while also doing other tasks with targets? Like let's say for example I meet you or you meet me and now we have a relationship. And while we're still having this relationship for let's say 6 months, a month, a year, you're still able to go about your business and do it with other targets as well. Do you do
So
two at the same time basically?
I did before, but the one which will be in the second part,
Yeah.
I didn't. So I was so involved into the last mission. We were basically living together. So of course I couldn't do that.
Oh really?
Yeah, so we went into like really serious relationship, like 24/7. So sleeping with him and eating and went to all his whatever he was doing, like things and activities and businesses. So I was like full-time girlfriend.
What was his job? Who was he?
So he was the main leader of the drug trafficking criminal group, which is still actually active in Russia. One of the most powerful, and the one who actually helped Putin to become president.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all coming from there. Well, Russia was very criminal after perestroika, after the 1991 USSR collapse. So because of like Yeltsin was kind of like really weak president, and all this happened, the whole Russia, like I mean, like it was a chaos, like in the country at that time. So a lot of criminal groups appeared, and they took over the power.
What's that guy's name? Like what's his name?
So the guy you mean like whom I had to seduce?
Yeah, yeah.
His name was Vladimir. He was my last task, my last mission, and he was, I would say, even though he was a criminal, but from all of them, he became my almost like angel.
Really? And you fell in love with that guy?
Honestly, you know what? I didn't. I
You
really
didn't?
didn't. No.
What
I
would you
was
say it
young.
was? You just of all the bad guys, he was the best.
You know what? I respected him for many things. He done like really good stuff, not for me, for a lot of people. He would help orphan kids, and he helped a lot of poor people in Russia at that time. But
He was a mafia guy, though, correct?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is he dead now, or where
yes,
is he?
he's dead. Yeah, he's dead because of me.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because of me. So,
What's his last name? Vladimir.
well, Vladimir, like
Vladimir.
that I can't tell you that because okay. So the point is that also like a lot of people ask me like, aren't you scared of the Russian government? And I'm saying like, well, hello, I did only good things for the Russian government and never. So the reason why I really fled the country, it wasn't because of Russian government. It was actually because of the criminal world, because of his death and because of what I've done and because so much drugs and money they lost because of my mission, because of me.
Right.
My commander who like it will be in the podcast basically the not that commander, another one, commander of all the commanders, like the main commander, the general said, you know what, because of all this mission and what you've done, which is like you did great job, well done, but you have to leave the country, otherwise they will find you and kill you because you've done all that, and because of you they lost the leader. So I actually fled the country not because of the Russian government, and that's why I'm not saying anything bad about it. Like I literally fled because of the criminal world.
Of the mafia. Even worse, though, because the mafia is... Can't the mafia come here and kill you?
Look, it's not, I hope not anymore, because again, it's been long time ago.
Like, how many years ago was this?
Well, now it will be like 17 years ago.
17 years ago.
It's, I mean, first of all, it's been like such a long time. And then everything got so kind of like, it's like everything got changed. So many people died. So many people like new came to their power and all that. Putin became much, much stronger. I mean, like he is the one in the country, in Russia. So I don't think they would want to terminate me now. There is no point. Like, what for?